Hi students, parents and teachers. Today I'll be breaking down for you in this video how to use talking marks in your writing. Sometimes you'll see it and you'll think, oh yeah, that makes sense. And other times you'll find out what I did, which is, it doesn't seem logical sometimes. But anyway, who am I to say? Let's get things underway. Let's learn, share and teach. Hi guys and welcome to Talking Marks. Today you are going to be learning about a piece of punctuation we use in our writing to show what someone has said and report exactly what they said. Let's get things underway. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what are talking marks? Well, talking marks are known by many names such as quotes, quote marks, quotation marks, speech marks, inverted commas, and of course the one we're going to use today, which is talking marks. Now, they're a piece of punctuation that is normally in pairs. There is normally an opening talking mark and a closing talking mark. Okay, I've got a great example here actually. I am actually telling you that someone said hello, and I've got in between the talking marks, which you can see above hello on either side of it, the talking marks indicating that that was said, okay, by someone. As you can see, the two marks at the start of the hello look like a 66, and that's why I put 66 there. And then the ones at the end are like 99. So basically you do the dot first and then the tail underneath. Those are double talking marks, okay? So those are used, and we'll talk about when they're used later on. And then below, with the second hello, I'm once again telling you that someone said hello, exactly what they said, which was, yeah, hello. I'll say that again, hello. And these are single talking marks, which are just like a 6 at the beginning of a word that was said, and a 9 after a word that was said. Excellent. So let's keep going. Talking marks show direct speech. Now, what is direct speech? Well, this is exactly the words that someone said. So if you're reporting or telling us in a story exactly the words that someone said, you use talking marks around what they said, the words they exactly said. Now, within the talking marks, you might have fragments of a sentence. You might also have a whole sentence that the character said. Or you might have multiple sentences that the character said together. Okay, so that's when we use talking marks. Now let's have a look at an example here. I've got an example here and it says, Urkel said, okay, so I'm reporting that Urkel said something. Urkel said, and these are the exact words he said, "Bob, I am a handsome chicken." I should have known. So there you go. We're reporting the exact words that Urkel said, okay, and we've put them in talking marks. You can see the single talking mark, or the opening talking mark, before the word Bock, and then the closing talking mark after the word chicken and after the full stop there as well. Awesome. Cool. Let's go to the next thing. Now, indirect speech. Indirect speech, what is that? Well, indirect speech is when we're communicating the general points of what someone has said. We haven't reported or written the exact words that the characters said. We're not saying that. We're actually just giving the general points or the general idea of what the character said. Okay. It's sometimes called reported speech, and a lot of the time we use the word that. Okay. So example, Urkel told me that he is a handsome chicken. So I didn't report his exact words that he said, but I'm communicating the general point or the general idea of what he did say. Okay, great. So also known as reported speech. Now, apart from that, single or double talking marks. Which one should we use? Well, in Australia, we generally use single talking marks. But beware, because in Australia In some of our media, they use double talking marks. In some of our books, they use double talking marks. So, yeah, just be prepared to see a bit of variety in the usage of these. But generally, we use single talking marks for quotes in Australia. Okay. Now, we do use double talking marks for quotes inside of quotes. So, here's a great example here, which is Urkel said, okay, opening talking mark, because we're reporting what Urkel exactly said, word for word. Opening talking marks, that's a single, Australia. Okay. Errol yelled. Now Errol yelled, and now we're going to basically do a quote inside a quote. So we're using double talking marks. Okay, opening double talking marks. Eat my shorts. That's all Errol said. So we close talking marks at Mr. K. So I'm basically reporting here that Urkel said to me that Errol yelled, eat my shorts. And you can see we use talking marks for direct speech, but if it was a quote inside a quote, we'd use double talking marks. Okay, so single for just direct speech, but double talking marks for a quote within a quote. Excellent, cool. A little bit confusing. Anyway, it gets more confusing later on, but anyway, I shouldn't have maybe said that. Let's keep going. Okay, so how to use them. Now, number one, we use speech marks to enclose direct speech, and we've already talked about that. Urkel said, look, I'm a handsome chicken. Okay, word for word, we've reported what we've said what he said, unless we've given a open talking mark and an ending talking mark. How to use them? Again, number two, well, use commas to introduce direct quotes. Now, this is where I think it gets a little illogical. Okay, like Dr. Spock would say. I've got Dr. Spock in my head right now when I'm thinking about this part. Because when we introduce direct quotes, we normally would use a comma before the talking marks. Okay, I'll give you an example. Here we go. Urkel said, comma, okay, because the first part, Urkel said, is called a carrier expression, which is actually when we're reporting who said it. So Urkel said, comma. Then we've got the talking marks, and we've reported the direct speech with those talking marks, okay? And note that the full stop's at the end inside the talking marks. So that's when we've put the carrier expression before the quote. We put the comma outside of the talking marks at the beginning. But this is the part that I find a little bit unusual, and it's this. If the carrier phrase is after the quote, so Urkel said, is after the quote, we use a comma at the end of the quote inside the talking marks, okay? Have a look at this example. Okay, so start the quoting. So we've got start with an opening talking mark, and it says, Bob, I'm a handsome chicken, comma inside the talking marks. I thought it would have been a full stop, but anyway, doesn't make logical sense to me, but this is the way it is. Comma inside the talking marks, close talking mark, and then we say who said it, which is the carrier expression, which is said Urkel. Awesome. Let's keep going. Very, little bit illogical there so far. How to use them? Let's continue with this. So, number three, keep question marks and exclamation marks. So, when you've got some talking, okay, if there's a question mark or a talking exclamation mark, you don't replace it with a comma, okay? You keep that original question mark or exclamation mark. I'll give you a couple of examples here, okay? Here we go. Urkel asked, Book, am I a handsome chicken? Now, we put the question mark in there, so that's okay. Right? We keep those. I understand that inside, because that's exactly what he said. But the second one, Book! Exclamation mark. Yeah, he yelled that. We keep that. I am a handsome chicken. Exclamation mark. Closing talking mark. Screamed Urkel. Now, if we followed the example before, which, you know, would have had a full stop, and instead we put a comma inside the talking marks when the carry expression was after the quote, then I would have thought this might have been something like a comma again, but it's not. We keep exclamation marks and question marks at the end of quotes, even if it's followed by a carry expression that reports who said it. Awesome, let's keep going. Number 4. Whew, I'm getting there. Use full stops carefully with quotation marks. Okay, so I've got an example here. It's Urkel is allowed to eat donuts according to open quote talking mark, close ugly chicken, close talking mark, full stop. If we're using a quotation and it's not a full sentence and it's just a snippet or a key term of that quote, then we would do the talking mark, but we'd put the full stop outside the talking marks. Now this is getting a little bit more complicated, and it's probably for guys who have worked on from grade 3, 4 maybe, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a little bit confusing here as well. But remember, if it's a snippet or a key term from a quote, then the full stop would be outside the talking marks. Cool. Okay, right. Let's keep going. Number 5. Is number 5 coming or what? Yes, here it is. Use quotation marks for words or phrases used in a special way, or the quotation that we're giving, or the words we're putting in the quotation mark, are the name of a special topic, okay, under discussion. I'll give you an example here. Mr. K is the ugliest of, you must have wrote this, is the ugliest of all ugly chickens. Thanks, Circle. Anyway. The next one. When to use them? Number 6. Wow, there's a lot to this. Use quotation marks the first time a technical term or a questionable concept or a slang label is written in some writing. So an example here would be this. He spoke like a fair dinkum Aussie. Okay, so fair dinkum Aussie, that is colloquial words or a bit of slang. So in this case, we would put it in open talking mark, close talking mark. Okay, and a full stop after that, because it's the end of the sentence. Cool. Let's keep going. Long or short quotes. Okay, so this part here is basically about the fact that if it's less than 40 words, what you would do is you would basically just put the text into the paragraph you're writing. But if it's more than 40 words, you'd start a whole new paragraph for that quote. Okay, excellent. Beyond that, the last one, let's have a look. Summary. Oh, I made it. Talking marks are only used to communicate direct speech, which, if you remember, are the exact words of what someone said. So we only use them to report the exact words that someone has said. Commas to introduce direct quotes. Be careful of those, because we've talked about how if the carry expression, which is who said it, is before the talking marks, then we need the comma outside of the talking marks. But if the carry expression is after the quote, okay, we put the comma inside the talking marks, replacing normally the full stop, okay? But remember, if that is the situation where the carry expression is after the quote, we would still, if there was a question mark or an exclamation mark in that quote originally, then it has to continue with that, and we can't replace it with a comma. Complicated. Let's keep going. Yep, I've talked about that. Keep question marks and exclamation marks. Use full stops carefully with quotation marks. Like I said, if you're using a snippet or a key term from a quote in your writing, then you would put it in talking marks, but the full stop would be outside the talking marks. Okay. And then the next one, use quotation marks for words or phrases used in a special way. Okay. I gave you an example, which was the ugliest chicken, or, you know, a key topic under discussion. Okay, so that was there. Number 6, use them for technical terms, or to state a questionable concept, or to use for colloquial words, which means slang words. Okay, cool. Awesome. Listen, I hope you got a bit out of today. It's a subject that I find not that logical. Okay, I find it a little bit confusing. Okay, but those are the facts, and that's the way it is. So, good luck with your writing. Good luck with talking marks. Have a great day. Bye. Thanks for watching one of my videos. If you've enjoyed the content or you just want to show your support, please just click the subscribe button down below. You hitting the subscribe button lets me know that you'd like to see more content from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Subscribe.